Hey everybody, it's Greg Rice. We're here in the Bucket, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And yesterday I was looking at a property in Warren on Market Street, as a matter of fact, right near Jamie Park, if you're familiar with the area. And I was looking at the property, beautiful multi-family, priced awesome, priced super affordably. And I said, this is too good to be true. What's going on? It's got an ocean view. Okay, this is beautiful. I don't know any rentals that we manage with water views. So I started to dig a little bit and found out that this specific area of Warren is slated to be underwater in 10 years. Maybe less, maybe more. Who knows? Nobody knows. We're studying, we're hypothesizing, we're speculating as a society how rising sea levels will happen and when they're going to happen. But the bottom line is it's most likely going to happen. So how does that affect you as a property owner? So say you own this property, you've lived there your whole life, and all of a sudden, you're not going to be able to live there anymore. Well, first and foremost, you need to have flood insurance. That's your primary protection. Your homeowner's insurance will not cover a flood. It's a separate entire policy, flood insurance, and it's not cheap. Okay, it's totally not cheap. On average, $300 to $500 is what you're going to spend per month. Per month. I have one property now in West Warwick, as a matter of fact, right on the Patuxent, that I had to buy flood insurance for, and I was like, I'm on a river. It's this much money. I think it was $3,600 for the year. And I'm not from Rhode Island, so I looked back, 10, 15 years ago, and that river did flood. So it does happen. Though sporadic, you need to be covered in the event that it does. Most specifically, though, the Warren, Barrington areas were on the news because in 10 years, this will be underwater as well. The town's evacuation road in Barrington would be covered by water, making essentially some areas like little islands. It's unbelievable. So what would happen if that water comes, you can't use your property anymore? Your flood insurance would pay you up to $250,000. That's it. That's it. So if you own a property that's worth $1 million, you're going to get the face value of that flood insurance policy for $250K. Not a cent more. And people say, oh, well, I'll get another rider or another policy to supplement it. Likely not going to work, because what needs to happen to get more than that $250, the replacement cost you're looking for, you'll need to be able to rebuild. But you won't be able to rebuild because there's water there. So really that $250K is the cap. It's kind of like the FDIC when you go to the bank. You get $250 of insurance. So I'm not sure if that has something to do with this, just spitballing here. But the bottom line is, if your property's worth more than that, you're not going to get that. You're going to get a check for $250. See you later. Your property's now underwater. Scary. So when investing, now when you're thinking of investing in these areas, think about that. How long will it take for that property to be affected, if at all? And will that counterbalance the risk? I'm looking at this property in Warren on Market Street, like, okay, in 10 years it'll be underwater. How much money could I make in 10 years? How much would I owe in 10 years? Could I sell it in 10 years? I think I'm going to step back. I think, for me, it's not worth the risk, because it could happen sooner. Or you know what? A hurricane could come. Remember Hurricane Carol in 1954? Slammed Rhode Island. If that happens, the first floor units on this property would be flooded. And maybe, who knows, maybe it affects the upper floors too, with mold and, just electrical damage, plumbing damage. You might not get completely underwater, but it might be enough just to affect the structures, etc. Now you have to rebuild. You're in that vicious loop as well. So it may not be just the rising sea level that would affect you, but also a massive storm. So it's very troubling. It's scary, to be quite frank. Up here in Pawtucket, we don't worry about that. In Woonsocket, we never think about that. But you folks down on the East Bay, I mean, you're very, very close to the water. You're super close. You look at some of these properties and it's like 2 feet. And that's a perfect, bright, sunny day. So really think about it. If you own investment property there, think about a potential pivot to offset and mitigate your risk. If you own all your property in Barrington or Warren, think about diversifying. Think about buying something up this way to offset in the event that you can no longer utilize those properties. So more of a public service announcement, I would say this is today. And just to recap again, East Bay might be underwater, 10 years, flood insurance is needed and only covers $250K. Okay, any questions, any comments, section below, I'll get right back to you. Once again, Greg Rice, here in the bucket, where the bucket never gets over full. We're nice and high, we're up here, we got the beautiful river, and if it floods, good luck getting up here on North Union Street.